So I was just thinking a couple of things, and I just want to put it this way. If real Donald Trump and um, real Ben Carson, of course, those are their names on Twitter, if Donald Trump and Dr. Ben Carson didn't get their way in terms of the CNBC debate and they whined in order to get in, then what would they do if either one of them was president and he didn't get his way on an issue? And frankly, I don't want another type of Obama in the White House, whether the person in question would be Donald Trump or Dr. Ben Carson, because Obama's thrown a fit when he hasn't gotten his way on things, and Donald Trump and Ben Carson would do the same thing. Besides, we can't let Donald Trump rule everything, and frankly, I'm sick of real Donald Trump's comments, many of which are very chutzpah-laced, because Donald Trump is a misogynist, he's an anti-Semite, and also Dr. Ben Carson made that anti-Semitic comment about, well, if Jews were armed in this, well, first of all, the Nazis would have banned many weapons for Jews anyway. And not only that, but Dr. Carson talked about, oh, little resistance. The Germans and others, with few exceptions, willingly collaborated with the Nazis, so it had nothing to do with resistance. And not only that, the Holocaust was not just in Germany. It was also in Russia, and until the gulags closed in 1960, the Holocaust had been going on. And I know that, of course, there were resistors, and of course, the ghetto uprisings and Herschel Greenspan, and even my cousins who died at Augustov, they could have chosen to identify as Poles. They didn't. They died as Jews, and of course, their bodies have never been found because they were likely in mass graves. And I also had other cousins who were murdered in the Holocaust. And so it's not like, for lack of a better term, it's not like I can just sit there and say, oh, well, Dr. Ben Carson is right. I have to also consider, well, if Dr. Carson has any correct logic on this, oh, maybe all these terror attacks wouldn't happen in this law if Jews were armed. Well, either way, you're not going to stop anti-Semitism when anti-Semites are hell-bent on doing evil, and the so-called Palestinians have knives anyway, and they've done other things to hurt Jews. Does that mean, oh, we should all be armed with knives and this and that? And so, really, if Dr. Ben Carson and real Donald Trump want to blame Jews for everything and want to, make all these stereotypes about blacks and Hispanics and others, and of course, Dr. Ben Carson saying that abortion is an evil in the black community, but what about comments when he says, like, oh, Jews should have been armed? So, talking about the abortion issue, oh, that's threatening the lives of the black community, but saying Jews ought to be armed as if our lives weren't threatened anyway. And not only that, as I said, in terms of real Donald Trump and Ben Carson not getting their way on the issues, as someone put it, well, they were like first graders throwing a fit. Oh, if I don't get my way, I'm not going to play. And I mean, that's an insult to first graders, though, too, although that was a good way to put it. That's an insult to first graders because kids are just kids and they're testing the boundaries. Real Donald Trump and Ben Carson know better. And the other candidates are willing to play by the rules as well. And in terms, by the way, of how John Kasich handled the debate, he handled it with class and dignity. And he said that, the moderators did do their job, which they did, because the moderators exposed themselves for who they are, and they exposed who the mainstream media is, and John Kasich and others, including Carly Fiorina, just let things roll. And the more I think about it, I'm glad that the GOP banned the debates with CNBC, though at the same time, it's like, you know what? If we can have debates on the liberal media, let these liberal debaters expose themselves, and over time, people will say, you know what? The liberal media has been trying to hide it, and many of us have wanted to ignore that the liberal media is who they are, at the same time, we can't just ignore it now because the evidence is right in front of us. And of course, you always had people who deny that the liberal media is who they are. And by the same token, in terms of some people suggesting that conservatives ought to moderate the debate, we can't be like the liberals and just have all conservatives moderate the debate. So I like the idea that someone put out. Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Anderson Cooper, and George Stephanopoulos moderating the debate, because you will have fairness and you will have balance, and you don't want the liberal media, we don't want to stoop to the level of the liberal media. And not only that, we also want to rise above being like the liberal media, and we can't let Donald Trump and Dr. Ben Carson rule everything. And Donald Trump rules enough as it is. And if we keep giving Donald Trump and Dr. Carson their ways, then they'll throw fits. And the more we encourage them, it's like if you would encourage a first grader when he throws a temper tantrum. And I mean, if you would never let your kid throw a temper tantrum, if you would say to your kid, I'm sorry that you're not, or I'm sorrowed that you're not getting your way for your sake, and at the same time, I'm looking out for you and I'm looking out for your sake by not giving you your way. And I'm also looking out for the sake of others. So my point being, we can't let Donald Trump and Dr. Ben Carson and others, for lack of a better term, act like petulant babies. So of course that's an insult to babies and kids, because babies and kids are just being kids. Donald Trump and Dr. Carson are adults who know better, and that's that.